So what defines an organization is live or not live in your perspective?
Well, there's a journey. The first step is you need to be connected. You need to connect humans. You need to connect your data, really connect your data. Structured, unstructured, make it available. And things. There's a phrase called the dividends of the smartphone wars, where all these devices and sensors that used to be extremely expensive for aeronautics are now $1 or less. GPS and sensors and telemetry. People, things, and data. So you connect all this. Well, then you can observe them. And once you observe them, you can then start to take action. We use the word sentient. It's just awareness. And you can have response. You can respond. Because in a world where you can document a process, you can automate a process and then optimize it. And that's where the problem finding or the modeling and the more empathetic aspects of it humans can do, while more and more is automated. So you get beyond that, then it's more agile and nimble. And that's where we start saying it's alive, because for many senses or inputs, you can actually have a response. For example, that little chatbot you might have in the corner of your screen quite often, that's not a human being anymore. It's okay if for certain questions you get a quick answer, you don't care. And so that's where there's an alive aspect to the organization, because you want to continue to morph and evolve. That's why we chose the live piece. And then finally, that it's more innovative, taking more of a venture capital approach where, let's say you launch a lot of ideas. You nurture and feed the ones at stage gates that seem to work out, and the ones that don't, you redirect the resources. And so this idea of continuing to reallocate your capacity, reallocate your attention, and doing it in a way where these lots and lots of small teams and ideas, and yet you have this central maybe tools group or platform, because you can't have 1,000 people in their own Silicon Valley garages, right? You need to have some kind of structure to scale. And so the ability to have the best of that independent team and yet have some central platform, some central way that's consistent. Plus, if person A over here has found something out to work well, by being consistent, you can share that, unbundle it, take the things that work, and person B can then build on that. And Facebook calls it their social graph. LinkedIn has their employee graph. Well, every company should have a knowledge graph of some kind where you're collecting your knowledge. Everything possible is connected, and then you could make use of it. Because if you don't, and other people are, you will fall behind, and the margins, between companies that do and don't will just expand over time.
Yeah, fair point. So on that note, so what is, from your point of view, what is a not live organization? Or dead organization? Like, what do you call that?
Command and control. Let's say we're headquarters in London or Dallas or Bangalore or New York, and we tell you what to do once a year. We have the annual plan, maybe even the quarterly plan, and it's pretty much top down, or marketing, or the org chart is pretty traditional with roles, or a non-live is where you look at where someone went to school, or the degree they had, and not the demonstrated skills they have in a relevant capability now. Those are all point examples of what a static or non-live organization will be. And again, there's nothing that's binary, all yes, all no. But the more that you can move towards that, the more that your capabilities allow you to be more nimble and also deal with people in a way that is real. That's live as well, because do you want corporate speak coming at you from your company, or something that recognizes that there are different pools of talent, different schools, different credentials, and the way you work with your people? That's a big element of the live enterprise as well. I haven't said a lot about being customer centric. Yes, that's really important, but customers for a long time have gotten the headlines. Employees have gotten second trip. Think about the apps. The last of the green screens were not for the customers trying to buy something from you. It's for your employee trying to apply for vacation or expense reports. These are ugly things, and they're laptop driven. And the last couple of years, and especially the past year, we've seen an explosion of the better experience for an employee. That by equipping them, by giving them more of what they need, they can do a better job being customer centric. And I think did it take a pandemic to get companies to really be concerned about their health, really be concerned about their workers? I think it certainly shined a light on that. And that's something I don't think will change. I think it was also coincident with the rise of stakeholder capitalism, because stakeholder capitalism isn't just about the environment, isn't just about ethics and fair trade. It's also the S in ESG is society. It's your community, and it's your employees. They're a very important stakeholder. It is not a shareholder, but a very important stakeholder. So that to us is also part of being live.
So you talked about stakeholder capitalism. Like, shed some more light. What does it even mean?
Well, if you look at Milton Friedman, like in the 70s, had mentioned that the ultimate goal of a company is to generate returns for shareholders. A lot of good things happen from that, because that funds foundations. Most of the hospitals you see, there's someone's name in front of it that did make a lot of money and founded it. So it has worked out to some extent in the past. For better or worse now, leaders in many aspects of society, including the big money firms like Larry Fink or BlackRock, they're saying, we expect companies, it's okay if they make a lot of money, it's okay if they grow, to take a greater role. Whether it's not polluting too much, whether it's not being a burden on our planet or society, whether it's not being unfair with their employees, or contributing to their community. So stakeholder capitalism is a broad term, meaning that all those stakeholders, the people who have a stake, which you can include the planet, I suppose, in that, that they get a return. And you measure the net return of a company, not just on the financial statements, cash flow, balance sheet, and P&L, an income statement, also on the other aspects. Because if you, for example, polluted a river, or you have a huge carbon footprint, or your people can't earn a living wage, these are all things, regardless of what you say, personally, they are very prominent in the market. So again, it's not a political thing. This is an upswell of sentiment from people who are consumers, customers, possible employees, voting citizens in these local geographies. And it seems that the idea has really come into the mainstream. It's no longer this thing that there is a corporate and social responsibility unit and someone will report on it and there'll be a report. It's being integrated into the CFO's world. These are integrated statements from the World Economic Forum to a variety. We're working with the UN on some things as well, where what are some relevant metrics? Because most people would nod their head and say, this is a good idea.
Right.
But one, I can't go to business. And then two, how do I do it? And so we're still in the early days, but the live enterprise does respect that as well, because it's a broader set of metrics. And by thinking about employees and by thinking about the environmental footprint, it's something that Infosys has looked at pretty hard in all of our decisions. So we just naturally baked it in to the operating model.